Hey there, book friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joan. I'm a book collector, and I'm on a quest to not just collect my books, but to read them. So here on this channel, I talk about all things reading and books and to be read lists, TBRs, didn't finish, DNFs, reviews, wrap-ups, and book hauls. So something surprising happened. I was searching through things, looking for something I've misplaced, and I found an Amazon gift card. And, you know, in my head, I was just thinking, okay, it's probably A, used, B, if it's not used, it's, $10 or $15. So I go to my little computer and I put in the number, and to my surprise, it hasn't been used and it was $100. Woohoo! So I was super excited, and I did what any book collector would do. I bought books. Now, the haul that I'm going to show you was mostly purchased with that $100 gift card. I did throw in a couple of book club books. Excuse me. Because I knew that I was going to need them and might as well, get it in. So anyway, all right. Let's get to the good stuff. Let me show you what I picked up. I also try to do, so I have them grouped in stacks. And so this first stack, I try to buy a classic to read each month. And this one I have heard everyone rave about, 100 Years of Solitude. I tried buying it used at Half Price Books and I couldn't find it after maybe 6 months of searching. So I just bought it with my gift card. Very fun. I mean, we'll see. I don't always love the things that I'm supposed to think are the best books ever, but we shall see. So that's my classic. The next one is a little bit of a crossover. I hope we're going to do this in book club. We talked about it a little bit, but it is an author that I read Lady Tan's Circle of Women and loved it. So this is The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane. And the cover is gorgeous. And I really loved the Lady Tan's Circle of Women. So I'm very interested to see. So familiar with the author, really liked one of her other books. That was that pile. And then last in that same pile is this Tender Land. I read Ordinary Grace last month. Oh, that was probably my only 5-star book last month. I loved it so much that I just ordered it when I had the $100. So I'm sure that I will I know I like his writing. So the next pile that I have are books about books. And I love to buy them and I love to read them. I enjoy other people who love them. I don't know if they're going to be good. And sometimes there's some magical realism, which on the surface I would say, nah, not for me. But I've loved all these books. So here's the first one. And this one, I'll tell you why I got it. This is the Dictionary of Lost Words. So there was a movie, I do talk about movies a lot, but there was a movie a few years back that was the story of how the Oxford Dictionary came to be, the two men involved. Can't remember the title, but it was good, and I don't think a lot of people saw it. So this is the daughter, apparently, of one of those men, and as words come in, they sort them into piles, and then some are discarded, and she becomes the collector of those, and then gives name to other things that aren't being named. So I love the idea of this one. The next one is The Wishing Game, and I don't know much about it. The Wishing Game. This one I think is the one that has a little magical realism in it. Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now a 26-year-old teacher's aide, Lucy is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially, I lost my place, 7-year-old orphan Christopher Lamb. Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. So I think I read the first page. So this, think about how big the Harry Potter books were, and I'm getting the sense that that's what we're looking at here. Beloved books that just enchanted adults and children alike. And this Clock Island place would be, akin to Hogwarts and not the Muggle world, but the magical world. So there's a map in here too at the beginning that it's funny because I think it has this kind of dual language sort of thing. I don't mean in the fact that they're bilingual, but here's the map. If you're talking about, a location, you would talk about the time, because this is laid out like a clock. So you have this, you could be talking about the time or you could be talking about the location. So I thought that was going to be fun. I'm excited to dive into that one. And then the third in this pile about books is The Echo of Old Books. Again, don't know anything about it. A pair of mysterious books, a doomed romance, and the echoes of love that never died. So maybe a little romance around books. I don't know. We'll see. So I'll pick one from that pile, of each of these piles, each maybe month or so, to try to vary what I'm reading. The next pile are stories that I'm familiar with. Yeah. So News of the World, I've talked about this. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. I did see the movie, which stars Tom Hanks, and I don't know that anybody else saw it. Came out maybe during COVID, and I don't know. But he is a man who goes around with newspapers and reads the news. So in a time where people may not have access to newspapers, they may not be able to read the newspaper, they may not be able to afford a newspaper. So he would go around and read the news of the world to people, maybe in a bar, or I don't know, gathering spot. So he comes upon this orphan at some point, and he is trying to return her to family. And pretty sure, they end up, her family, they're settlers very near where my family were the first settlers. And so that's kind of fun, over by the Medina River. So area I'm really familiar with. I have, my family started the settlement, and very fun tie-in and beautiful cover. It was a good movie, so if you want to, same title. So the next one, with a story that I'm somewhat familiar with, is called I Was Anastasia. Anastasia, I don't know how you want to say that. Depends. So this author wrote The Frozen River, which was a 5-star read for me this year. Loved it. I loved what she did with a true story, and then, built this beautiful fiction hanging on that framework. So in the 80s, I found a book. I have it somewhere. I'll dig it out and I'll put a picture of it. I had a book about this woman. Her name was Anna something. Anna, I want to say Anna Adams, but that's not right. Anyway, shoot, why can't I pull that name out of that? And Anna, she went by Anna, she had claimed to be the sole surviving child of Tsar Nicholas when the family was annihilated. And so throughout, you know, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I think this starts in 70, they were trying to figure it out if she was who she said she was and how she escaped, and was it possible, and who knew her back then, and did they recognize her? Did they think it was who she was? So I was pretty obsessed as a young woman with this story. Now, of course, with the advancement with DNA, we have an answer, but if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. So this is the woman who wrote Frozen River, and she is now taking this true story and writing this, you know, fiction about it. Yeah, it's going to be fun to tap into that, you know. Oh, I just loved that mystery of it and that it couldn't be answered. And I also liked the hopefulness of it. That's what attracted me to it. So when I saw that she wrote this, I was like, oh yes, I'm in. Very excited. So next one is An American Beauty. This one, if you've watched Downton Abbey and The Gilded Age, done by Julian Fellowes, you'll know that The Gilded Age is based sort of off this. At least this is in that realm. And another really good one that I read was called The Personal Librarian. And it was about J.P. Morgan's personal librarian and her job to amass the collection. And I did not believe half the stuff in it when I was reading it, and I had to go and do research, and it was phenomenal. And I'm excited to kind of have that experience. Not that I won't believe, but that I'll be so pushed to then do my own little research and gain some insight. Okay, so those are the ones that I was really comfortable with, that I wanted to read. I knew that. So then I wanted to pick some that I wasn't familiar with and that were just sort of blind picks, especially since I had this fun, ooh, I found some money. One caveat, this will probably be a book club pick. We happened to talk about it after I had already purchased it. So, Lila Dean's Little Library of Banned Books. So this, of course, could go into my books about books pile, but it's, I think, a little cheekier and southern small town, I think. And so this one lady is on a quest to get rid of kind of what she thinks are not appropriate books for the community. And so in part of that effort, she creates her own little library and she puts what she thinks is appropriate. Well, then some cheeky lady, rival, whatever, takes some of those books and then takes the book jacket off and then puts some of the banned books in the covers of the quote unquote appropriate books. And then the town then has access to those books and let the reading commence and all the fun, right? So funny, cheeky. I'm looking forward to it. This next book, I don't know a thing about, and it is not what I would normally pick up, but I did because of the cover. I love the cover art. I think there's some magic, I don't know, Dust Bowl, all of the ones giving her all the accolades, never heard of. So clearly it's not in my genre of books that I normally read, but I am willing to give it a go. People love her. I guess she wrote Swamplandia, which was a finalist for the Pulitzer. It says fantastical, historical, supernatural, and miraculously faithful to the legend of a nation's past. The antidote is bookended by two real weather events that happened within months of each other in western Nebraska. The Black Sunday dust storm of 1935 and the flooding of the Republican River, which received 24 inches of rain within 24 hours. Within the confines of this shadow history, we meet a prairie witch, so yeah, that wouldn't be my thing, who excels in the exile of memory and who calls herself the Antidote. Okay, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna give it my go and see if I can get engaged. So, you know, that's what you do with a little something you know you're gonna love, stretch a little bit. That's a stretcher. This one is also based on the cover. It's just beautiful. This one's called The Overstory. And probably I'm the only person who wasn't already familiar with it, because when I mentioned something about the found gift certificate and I said, I bought one, just supposed to be some Pulitzer Prize, and all these awards, and it's beautiful cover, and they're like, oh, The Overstory. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's a big epic about reimagining our place in the world by one of our most prodigiously talented novelists. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. So a little bit of a stretch, a little comfort, stories I'm familiar with but I haven't read. It's great to be able to, have those. So that's the haul. And I still can't believe that I found $100 in a drawer under some paint. And had I not been looking for that other thing that I've lost and still have not found, I would have never found it. So let me know in the comments if you've ever had such a surprise, a little found money, and did you buy books? And if you've read any of these, which one you think I should read first? Very fun. Or if you would do something else with a little unexpected money. So here's the part that I'm not good at. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my updates on these fun books. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep reading.